Chelsea compliments Connor's attire and respectfully meets Sally as they make their way to the table. Despite his lack of receptivity, Connor accepts to his mother's suggestion that they go outside and shoot pictures. As they walk out, Nick joins them. Nick informs Sally that they must have a chat. Billy claims he is making efforts to ease his transition at Chancellor. Lily yells at him, explaining that his good intentions are backfiring. Between her and Nate, he isn't the person to play mediator. Because she is the rightful owner of both the business and the family, she will run things as she sees fit. After Nate shows up to Newman Enterprises, Victoria asks him how he feels about being CEO of Newman Media. In the upcoming episode of The Young and the Restless, Nikki dishes out some tough love to Nick, Sally attempts to take the high road with Phyllis, and Victoria establishes some ground rules for Chelsea regarding Johnny. Devon avoids answering a call from Nate at Chancellor Winters, and Nate leaves a message indicating they said a lot of things in anger. Now that it's out in the open, they can go on. They're related, therefore they need to figure out how to patch things up. I'm confident that we can sort this out. Lily and Billy discuss the challenges of parenting young children at Crimson Lights. Billy comments on how admirable it is of Lily to prioritize her children above all else, and he hopes he could help his son feel better. The conversation shifts to the upcoming change, at which point Billy offers to mediate between him and Jill. Lily says that she is prepared for him to withdraw, saying that all she wants is for him to be content. I have no doubt that Lily will find a suitable substitute for him quickly. She receives a message that prompts her return to work. When Billy tries to leave, she begs him to stay, so much so that she worries it will cloud his judgment. Nick counters by saying their sister has always been faithful to them. The question on Victoria's mind is whether he would be so vehemently protecting her if they weren't close. Nick takes offense at his sister's apparent lack of faith in his ability to keep his professional and personal lives separate, and he argues that he has solid evidence to support his stance on Sally. Victoria claims the final say is hers and that she only wants a trustworthy CEO. Nick makes the observation that Nate has no qualms about betraying his own family in the pursuit of his own ambition. What more might he do to them if he's willing to do that to his own family? Please tell me why it would be a good idea to hire him. Back inside, Sally compliments Connor on his awesome costume. Adam makes believe she's chatting with him so he may tease her. Sally and Connor have a conversation about Halloween, during which Sally makes fun of Adam for forbidding Connor to watch scary movies. When Connor's mom doesn't return his call, he assumes she won't bother to visit. She used to care about everything, but now she doesn't give a damn. Adam proposes that they go see how she's doing. Connor is concerned about this. Adam reassures Connor at Crimson Lights that his mom is all right, and then jokes that the ranch is handing out toothbrushes in honor of Halloween. He tells Sally he has to go to the drugstore and asks her to watch Connor. She accepts, and Connor then inquires as to her top 3 Halloween candies. Nate receives a visit from Billy, who reminds him that despite his missteps, he has a chance to redeem himself in Devon. That's exactly what he hopes will occur. Nate doesn't get it. Why should it matter to him in the first place? Billy thinks back to the fights he had with his siblings and how he ultimately decided Jabot wasn't the place for him. Nate, on the other hand, thrived at Chancellor Winters and truly enjoyed his time there. Billy hopes that he and Devon will be able to work out their differences and move on. Nate is sorry for what he did and acknowledges he let his lust for power cloud his judgment, but Devon refuses to accept responsibility for his part in the conflict. His calls to Devon have gone unanswered. Nate assumes that he and Lily currently hold a strong animosity toward him. Billy acknowledges that Lily's feelings were damaged but insists he can win back her trust. The phone rings at that very moment, and it's Devon. When he calls back, Billy tells him to say, "I'm sorry." It looks like Billy is leaving. They're going to have a meet-up, and Devon and Nate are both excited. Connor tells Sally he can wait for his father alone at Crimson Lights. Sally's commitment to spend time with his father was broken. Connor is confused as to why she would help him out. Sally claims that you two are still close pals. Connor discusses a schoolmate with whom he had some trouble, and then the conversation turns back to Sally's favorite holiday, Halloween. She challenges him to decode an anagram that will unveil her upcoming vampire costume. When Chelsea doesn't answer, Adam knocks on the door of her suite. She gently walks to the door, only to find that she has missed her chance to greet them. When Chelsea answers, Adam immediately asks whether she's all right. In her words, Chelsea was feeling a bit under the weather. Adam reassures her that Connor is anxiously awaiting her arrival, so he may show her his Halloween outfit. He thinks she's growing distant because of Johnny. Chelsea feels terrible and promises it won't happen again. To calm her nerves, Adam offers his reassurance. Chelsea needs a moment to freshen up before they head to the cafe, so she suggests they wait. Adam responds with a worried sure. Nick and Victoria's argument about Nate at Newman Enterprises persists. She claims that he showed admirable loyalty. Nick makes her think of Sally, who hid her feelings out of familial duty. She's already demonstrated her competence in this role, Vic. He goes on a tirade about how Victoria hasn't bothered to inquire about Sally's future intentions or worry about the creative momentum they could be forfeiting. For example, Nick might say, "So you tell me, who's thinking about what's best for Newman, and who's reacting out of their own personal feelings?" Nate invites Devon up to the penthouse and says he hopes they can have a conversation free of hostility and recrimination. Nate apologizes profusely. He was too preoccupied with making excuses for his behavior to offer an apology for it. His plans were despicable and could not be justified. He is taking responsibility for his actions and promises not to repeat them. He is counting on Devon's forgiveness so that the two of them can go on. That's not going to happen unless they're being totally forthright. Those comments Devon made regarding Neil are something Devon confesses he has given a lot of thought to. Perhaps there was some basis in reality to it. They work things out through discussion. Devon is at a loss to explain how he could have hurt his loved ones. Nate told himself it would make Chancellor Winters stronger, but in reality, he only wanted to prove to himself that he was an excellent leader. Devon is baffled as to where he got such crazy thoughts from. Nate claims it is irrelevant who the other CEO is. Instead of his family, Devon worries why he's defending the CEO. There's a risk of another attack because of him. "Say my name if you're sorry because I want to know who you are." Not a peep from Nate. Once again, Devon leaves. While at Chancellor Winters, Billy told Lily about his conversation with Nate, in which he hoped to put a stop to the family conflict. Nate is Lily's cousin, and she reminds him of that. Billy reveals that he entrusted Nate with the mission of persuading her and Devon that a reunion is feasible. For the life of her, Lily can't figure out what possessed him to do it. This, she concludes, is due to his guilt for abandoning her. If Victoria's intuition is correct, Nate will shock everyone at Newman. Sally and Chloe are gone, whether he likes it or not. The question on her mind is whether he would prefer to break the news in person. Nick plans to break the news to Sally if he is unable to sway her mind. To go, he simply exits the room. When the phone rings, Victoria answers it. When Chelsea and Adam walk inside Crimson Lights, they find Connor and Sally conversing about spooky films. While they laugh and high-five, Chelsea can only watch in amazement. When Victoria implements sweeping changes at Newman, Lily resents Billy's meddling. In the latest episode of The Young and the Restless, Sally intervenes with Connor. Adam worries about Chelsea, and Nick is ready to break some unpleasant news. On the terrace of the coffee shop, Lily tells Billy that she will not yet inform Jill about his desire to resign. "We need all of our attention for the IPO, and that will just be more noise." They see Adam and Connor come in, and Billy feels bad for Connor because his cousin just found out he's his half-brother. His heart sinks at the thought that Johnny won't even acknowledge the problem. Parallel tale. At Newman Enterprises, Victoria orders Nick inside and shuts the door before telling him she plans to replace Sally at Newman Media, ideally with Nate. Initially, she had expected him to find out first. Nick is unhappy and wonders if Sally's private life played a role. Victoria is not a fan.